Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit sun making a square, inconjunct, or opposition to your natal ascendant. Well, anyway, people, the first thing I'm going to talk about attempts to get attentions for your efforts, uh, really, and really getting any praise or be lauded for them during this transit. Well, it could be an arduous task. It'd be very difficult to say the least. People perhaps being oblivious to your efforts during this time could leave you in a state of strong aggravation and exasperation. That would probably be a vast understatement. During this time, it's important not to be, you may be overly opinionated, imperious, or maybe even a little bit overbearing or arrogant even. You may have difficulty expressing creativity during this time. That strong vitality that may be present more with the transit sun conjoining your natal ascendant, or even in sextile or trine to your natal ascendant, may not be there at this time, unless of course you have some contraindicators in transits, or for example, say transit Mars conjoining your ascendant or sun perhaps. So anyway, now the thing too is when you look at this could also be a time where the situation between maybe a father, a husband if applicable, perhaps even children, a dominant male figure, they might be contentious to say the least during this time. The good thing though is that this transit really doesn't last for that long. You figure it's 3 degrees applying, sun moves about a degree per day, and 2 degrees separating. That's how I see it anyway. Some astrologers may agree with that orb, others may look at it differently. But anyway, also it's a time where you might feel like some stronger blows to the ego during this period. Now, the thing too is it could even be hard to find the will to do things and have that, like I said, an inexorable energy, especially when you have transit sun conjoining your natal sun. It's just really is generally not there at this time unless you have those contraindicators in your chart. Now, we're in transits to a natal point or more in your chart. This could also be a time where there might be some blows to the ego. There might be some confrontations that might somehow hurt your pride, hurt your ego during this time. This is a period too. I mean, it's really where you might feel a little bit misconstrued or misunderstood during this time. It might be difficult getting what you want in this period. Let's say, I mean, if you have, I had a one time when I had the transit sun making a square to my natal ascendant. I mean, it was just an arduous task just to push myself out of bed. I just did not even, really had very low energy at that time. And you could really see, even though this transit doesn't last very long, if you have the transit sun making a square opposition or even an inconjunct to your ascendant, you could really feel it. And it's a time where you might have difficulty expressing the creative energy and creative prowess during this time. And also keep in mind that making that first impression might be difficult during this time. If you're trying to make one on somebody, impression, or just a first impression in general, really it could wind up being an indelible negative impression or impact you might leave on someone. So let's say if you have this coming from your transit coming from your 10th house and you're trying to impress a prospective supervisor at a new place of business you might work at, it's something connected with your career, and you're trying to impress a prospective employer, it might be a better time perhaps to wait until that square ends and it comes out of the square aspect, and then if it's still in your 10th house, in a lot of cases it will be, then to go maybe have some interview at that time. So, and the same could apply if you're having the transit hitting, say, your 6th house. Let's say transit sun is making an inconjunct to your natal ascendant from your 6th house. I mean, it might be a period where you might not be able to have that impact that you want, making that first impression on a prospective employer during this time at a place where you might, a prospective workplace you might be at, that would be new. So I think it would be better to wait, if you could, until after that transit hit, after it makes the inconjunct, and assuming it's still, I mean, in most cases it will still, I mean, would still be in the 6th house. So I mean, that would be, because as you know, the descendant is 180 degrees from your ascendant. If you have an inconjunct aspect in your 6th house, and after it moves away from it, it will still be in there. So anyway, also it might be difficult trying to take the initiative or trying to start something connected with new beginnings during this time. There might be also, I mean, it's important to look at the signs that are involved too. Now let's say for example that you have the sun, a transit sun. Let's say it makes a I mean, let's say you have it hitting your 4th house, right? And let's say it's in this transit sun, and the 4th house is in Cancer, and you're trying, and you got an Aries ascendant, and you're trying to show all this emotional energy and nurturing possibly in the home during this time, and that's supposed to be the focus. While Aries really likes to be a little bit more active and about. They're generally more, a little bit more, they're a lot more extroverted than Cancer, and they don't like to be confined in the home. So you can understand where there'd be some exasperation during that period. And let's take another example. Let's say that well, let's say like in my case, I mean, let's say, okay, I have Taurus ascendant, and I'm having, let's say, transit sun is making a square to my natal ascendant, and it's coming from that 4th house, and the sun is in Leo. Well, you understand that the disparity in energy is very different, of course. You'd have, I mean, Leo energy, of course, is very extroverted, very flamboyant, and you have the Taurus ascendant is more reticent, it's more quiet. Taurus is a lot more introverted, of course, than Leo, more reserved, and really you want to the energy would be so, there was such a strong disparity of that energy. That's what can cause some exasperation. Energy is very discordant, it's very different, showing more extroversion in the home, and maybe doing something attention seeking that comes out of the home, as opposed to just being kind of more laid back with the Taurus energy. So you could see why that would be where somebody would have really, like in my case, where that energy just is so different, and that's what can cause agitation with the person. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the transit sun making a square, inconjunct, or opposition to your natal ascendant. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about the transit moon making a conjunction to your natal ascendant. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.